king of haunted, whatever. And like, right away they're pissing off the people that work there. It's like, well, don't be a jackwagon. Have a little respect. Don't. Well, these people were so dumb. Do we go back to the beginning and talk a little bit about them? We could just say there were 5 friends.
Right.
They knew each other. They were talking about going back even to, their teen years or even earlier when they were kids. So 5 close friends, 4 guys, 1 girl.
Yeah.
2 of they're a couple. The girl is a couple with the 1 guy.
So I want to bring up the meme and stuff where it says, the more I watch horror movies, the more I identify with the rooting for the killer to get the people just because we're old.
Yeah.
But that's, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, there wasn't necessarily any, like, I didn't want to talk about the characters necessarily because the characters were, you kind of just let them happen. You listen and you learn about them as they talk to each other.
Right.
And, which one is a jerk and which one is maybe has baggage from before. And so there's a lot to listen to and pick apart as far as that goes.
I wrote annoying people, dumb conversation, and lowbrow juvenile humor. Rated R for cussing.
Yeah.
And then I'd written a little note. I wrote insulting to locals.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up was the fact that it's like a lot of these, but isn't that your basic horror movie trope where...
Yes, the city folk going out to the country.
Yeah, we're going to teach these dumb hicks. What did he call them? He didn't call them rednecks. He did at one point.
Well, he said something about backwoods.
Yeah,
and the guy's
backwoods
like, what do you mean by backwoods?
Yeah.
And then it got real serious.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Anything that made this particularly creepy or scary for you? Were there any parts, anything that stood out? Without being any specifics, just in general, when you watch this.
Well, on the 3rd night, they go to a haunt called the Terrorplex. And that was the first time, because they do take footage of walking through some of the haunted mazes, and that was kind of cool.
There were some things that were very much that I did enjoy. So that's why I said I'm conflicted about it, because there were things...
Well, because they really filmed at real... They actually went out to real people's, haunted houses and filmed.
Yeah.
But on the 3rd night, I noticed that was the first one... The first haunted house they went through, that at times it looked real. Mm-hmm. It was extreme to me as far as the acting and all of that. Mm-hmm. Like, people were really screaming for help and it sounded like people were really being murdered or things were happening or people were getting grabbed.
Right.
And it was like, okay, wait, that is part of the haunted house, right? Like, that was the first, that was a little bit scary. Okay. Because you and I have been through haunted houses 100 times.
Exactly.
Or more.
Of various degrees. But I actually wanted to ask you about that. I didn't know whether to ask you that later.
Oh, and someone in there knew the girl's name. They're, it would be easy to figure out somebody's name if they're with their friend, if they're paying attention.
If you hang... Well, it's the same thing when you go to psychic mediums and stuff like that. They interview you while you're in line or just in passing.
Right.
They can pick up clues and stuff about you if they wanted to go that route.
Right. So. But that was the first part that gave me a little bit of an unsettled,
Yeah, and there was...
But I wasn't scared for them. I could care less about them the whole time. I was nervous being inside that haunted house because it's like, am I witnessing something
brutal and sadistic really happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody asked for that. I want that Faces of Death feeling or whatever. When there was,
and so actually you mentioning that was good because we can say briefly that they're interspersed with these ding-dongs just talking to each other on their little road trip.
Right.
They did do little interviews with people who go to haunted houses, and also they interviewed some of the people that work in the haunted houses.
Right.
So it was like they were trying to put together like a little mini documentary.
Documentary or mockumentary, whatever you want to...
So some of those people had some weird comments.
They did.
And what was the one you just said? whether they were workers or people.
He wanted it to be like Faces of Death or something. He wanted it to be really intense.
Yeah, he was making fun of his girlfriend or whatever, saying, "Oh, she just wants to come and just get a little scared, but I'm looking for that Faces of Death kind of stuff."
Yeah, so
I don't know how many. I'd be interested to know how, because we watched. Didn't we watch a little bit of the
We watched a couple of the making of, but they showed because they did film the entire documentaries that they were doing.
It wasn't a making of, it was just
some of their real, some of their
raw footage
stuff.
of them going through and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, how many of those people were told what to say, and how many were genuine and like, hey, we're making a movie. I want your honest opinion about, you come to these often. What do you think of them? Why do you come?
Yeah.
But like, because some of the comments were obviously written for the movie.
Right.
Because they were planted there to put doubt in your
mind while you watch it. Okay.
Yeah.
So there were some genuinely creepy and scary scenes in there.
Yeah.
But for me, but they were more frightening because of the realism. It wasn't.
Okay.
How should I can't. Let me think about how to articulate that. It was the confrontational things.
Yeah.
It wasn't the monster scary type things.
Right.
It was more confrontational about what they were doing, or confrontational about, because they were filming when they weren't supposed to. Something,
right.
Ridiculous as it is, I was filming in a haunted house just the other day, and the guy hollered at me, "You can't, don't take pictures." And it's like, well, dude, this other lady just told me that it was fine as long as I didn't use flashes. Oh, okay then. So it's like, but you know what I mean? It's that real life conflict. Those were the things that were unsettling. There were some other creepy things too. Some arguably supernatural things in this. Here's the thing: would you recommend the movie?
It's kind of funny because us sitting here talking about it, I'm feeling like maybe I'm liking it a little more discussing it with you. Initially, like I hated the ending.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. It's okay because I read reviews on Netflix, and a lot of people hated the ending.
Yeah.
Just because it was like, oh, that was it.
Okay.
It was like a disappointing letdown.
Right. So that's what makes me say that. I was
looking for a lot more.
That's what makes me say is the second one, if they're going to do a second one,
maybe.
Is it going to pick up and run with that, or is it going to be something else?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
There's room for discussion. There's room.
So yeah,
I would have given it like a 2.5.
Okay. Somewhere between didn't like it and like it.
Yeah, somewhere in between there.
There were things I liked about it. There were things I did not like about it.
And I would be a relatively low recommend. This is not something that I would say, you've got to see this. I'm thinking your time could be spent, your hour and a half could be spent watching something else better.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of good movies. I'm actually thinking it's going to be hard this year when we pick our top 5.
Really?
I think so. Because I think we've seen a lot of good movies, and I think there are other movies that you could have better spent your time. However, having said that, if you're willing to sit around with a friend or friends and watch this together, and
when it comes down to it, it maybe was just a fun popcorn movie.
Yeah, maybe we wanted more, and that's our fault.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be, but yeah, I'm definitely liking it more as we're discussing it.
Okay.
I think if we put it on right now, I would be instantly irritated with the cast, with the 5 friends.
Okay.
I'd be like, no, why are we doing this again? Maybe not.
Okay.
I don't know. But it's a fun topic.
It's a fun topic, because my question was, I had intended to lead in with this, but I didn't.
Right.
What's the best haunted house you've been in? Is there one? Is there one particular one that stands out in your mind?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you might have one.
It was at the Mar Fairgrounds, the one we paid a lot of money to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't go with you.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You should have been with me.
Yeah.
That was probably the best one, only because usually we go to amusement parks where they have many mazes. We've been in a lot of really great ones.
Right.
So I hate to take away from those. I mean, Knott's Scary Farm, Knott's Haunt, I guess they're calling it now. That would always be, I mean, there were some great ones there.
Right.
There were some lame ones.
Right.
But yeah, this one at the Mar Fairgrounds was super, super long. You felt like it was never going to end. So, like, it like, got to me.
Yeah, okay.
Like, after a while, I was like, okay, this... I almost said, okay, this sucks. It was in a good way, though. Because I was like, oh my gosh, this just freaking keeps going. And there were so many different themes and so many different rooms you had to get through.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I got my fear of chainsaws.
They talk about that in this movie.
Which never bothered me before. But, like, the whole last portion of this thing was... Well, it was the backwoods, That
was the theme.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre type, hillbilly family that's going to eat you if they catch you kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, and they had the yard set up. They had laundry on the lines, and we were in such a big... I don't even know what it was in. I mean, they did such a good job hiding everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was part warehouse or
right.
some big space. Part of it was outside. But yeah, it was very convincing. All of those rooms were very convincing. Yeah, and I don't run in those things because it's like fun and it's.
You're safe.
Scared.
And I mean, they talk about that in this
Nobody's gonna
movie
actually
and stuff
get you
because there are these nowadays that you can pay to go to where they can lay hands on you. You can't lay hands on them.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
They can zip tie you and do whatever and stuff like that, which is. That's crossing a line. There's a line somewhere.
For me, absolutely.
Yeah. So I was going to say what I still think of as one of the best jump scares that we had. It's going to sound absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, no.
But it was the Van Helsing, of all things, the Van Helsing movie one at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Because they had a huge flippin' werewolf in there that was on a chain. There was a dude in stilts that was 7 to 8 feet tall or more.
Probably more than that.
That leapt out at the end of it, and I about crap.
I know. I think I wet my pants. It was it just came out of nowhere and came after you, and
he was on the end of a chain or whatever, so he couldn't. You know what I mean? It was going to stop short anyhow, but it's like.
And the whole thing was kind of lame, though.
The rest of it,
we were just walking through it, looking at stuff.
Well,
and
people would talk about the movie being lame too for the Van Helsing movie.
It was like the
I'm not sure what went wrong with that, but
I don't know.
Anyhow, more style than substance, kind of like Tron Legacy.
I guess so, yeah.
But anyhow, that was a scare.
Yes.
Anyhow, anything else that you wanted to say? I've got other notes here, like. What was the TV show that you said that was so fun or scary fun? Fear, that was it. Yeah. We never were able to find it.
Not a lot of people remember it. It was on MTV. I think it was MTV in the middle of the night.
Okay.
It was on at 1 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the morning or something. But yeah, it was a contest, 5 or 6 people spending the night somewhere together, and they had to do tasks out in the dark by themselves. That show was awesome. That was freaking scary.
We never were able to find it.
I could feel their, it was pretty heart-thumping.
Yikes.
Yeah, they never put it out, and they never released it on DVD. They don't show reruns. Where did it go? And very rarely I mention it, and somebody goes, I saw that. Okay. Most people go, what are you talking about? You mean Fear Factor? No, not Fear Factor.
Fear Factor. Oh, Little Monster Man. I'll have to find that clip if I can.
Yeah, Little Monster Man.
I'll put that in the notes.
Some help.
Oh my gosh, that guy was so scared.
He was so scared, but how sweet that he was offering to help this thing.
Indeed, absolutely.
Oh,
anyhow,
I thought it was a monster, and he's asking it if it needs help. How sweet.
Let's move on. Garbage in, garbage out.
Okay.
All right.
Wow, I took a lot of notes on this thing.
So for garbage in, garbage out, I don't have a lot. Again, we're still playing Dead Space for the second or third time.
Yeah.
But I am listening to it.
Yeah.
And I like almost hesitate to talk about it because this is like going to be off topic. Maybe I don't know. I mean, books always going to be better than the movie. Blah blah blah. This is and then the remake. Anyhow, listening to the book though,
yeah,
it's